Hi, I'm Claire Young. I make gluten-free recipes for your health and your diet. I love these gluten-free brownies that I'm going to make for you today. My kids adore them, and honestly they'll be the best brownies you've ever tried. They have 205 calories per slice, but they are well worth it. You can find this recipe and many more like it for your gluten-free diet on my website, which is www.beatthebloat.co.uk. Right, I'm going to start with my basic ingredients for the gluten-free brownies. I've got a bowl here in which I'm going to combine 200 grams of caster sugar and 125 grams of softened butter. This means butter at room temperature, or if you've just got it out of the fridge, put it in the microwave on defrost for about 30 seconds. So put them in the bowl together. And we're just going to mix them. You mix the butter and sugar together until they're combined and they become slightly creamy together. When you're happy with that, you add, we've got 2 eggs in total, but we're going to add them one at a time. So crack 1 egg in, and then carefully mix the first egg in. It's a bit gloopy to start with, but don't worry about that. Doesn't have to be perfectly mixed in, and then go on to the next one. There we go, and do the same. Mix it together, and then stir it in. It looks a bit of a gloopy mess at the moment, but it is going to be amazing. Right then, and the next ingredient we add at this stage is 50 grams of cocoa powder. That's unsweetened cocoa powder. That is quite a lot of cocoa, but it's going to taste delicious. And we mix that in as well. Just fold it in a little bit to start with, and then as it starts to mix in, it gets a bit easier. And I've got a deep, dark chocolatey goo. At this stage you probably want to put your oven on. We've got an oven, we want it at 160°C. That's 140 fan. It's quite low, but we cook these brownies slowly and it helps them, gives them that slightly sticky texture. So put your oven on to 160 or 140 fan. And also at this stage you want to grease a 20 centimetre square cake tin just with a little bit of butter. 20 centimetre is ideal, but obviously something similar would work just as well. Next thing we're going to do is take 100 grams of dark chocolate. I'm using 70% dark chocolate here. And I have broken them up into pieces in a bowl, and I've added a tablespoon of water. I'm going to melt them together now, and I'm going to do that by putting it in the microwave for 10-second blasts, stirring in between each 10 seconds, and it'll take maybe about 3 10-second blasts. After 20 seconds, you see it's still got some lumps in there. You need to stir it through because it's melting all the time. You don't want any hot spots, and chocolate can burn very easily. You see it's going melting more and more as I stir it. It's going to need a little bit more. Right, so there is the chocolate. It's had 3 10-second blasts, and you can see there's a few lumps in there. But if I keep stirring, those lumps are dissolving quite quickly, and it's not going to need another another go. There we go. Smells divine. Right then, and that is all melted, so I'm going to put that into my brownie mixture. Mix in the chocolate. Oh, even more chocolatey. Get it around from the edges as well. Right then, and I'm going to measure out the last of my ingredients. I'm going to start with 90 grams of ground almonds. This is going to be used in place of the flour. Works really well. I'm going to measure that in, 90 grams, and then I'm going to add a couple of ingredients directly to the flour, well, directly to the ground almonds to make it more like flour. The first of those is baking powder, and that's half a teaspoon. I'm going to add it straight to the flour, not to the mixture, and stir it in a little bit. And the other ingredients is something called xanthan gum. And xanthan gum you can get in most supermarkets now or health food shops, and it's a binding agent. It gives it more of a crumbly texture, and we need that because we haven't got any flour. Half a teaspoon of that mixed into the ground almonds, and you want to mix it in first before you add it to your brownie mix. Okay, so there is our ground almonds, half a teaspoon of baking powder and half a teaspoon of xanthan gum in there. And now you want to stir that in. Fold it in to start with. It's still going to be pretty goopy. And then quite quickly it combines until all the almonds have disappeared into the mix. And there we have a magnificent brownie mixture. So now I'm going to take my pre-prepared cake tin and scoop in my mix. Go, and then I'm just gonna, it's very sticky, so as best you can just slide it out over the tin. It will rise a little bit, but not that much, as you would expect with the brownies. Try and make it as level as possible, otherwise it won't cook evenly through. Now we're going to bake this in the oven for about 45 minutes and see if it's done. After 45 minutes, you want to get the brownies out of the oven and check if they're cooked. You want to make sure that the brownies are just cooked, so not soggy in the middle. And you can see there's a bit of cracking on the top there, which means they're probably done. Yeah, that looks all right, but if you're in any doubt, they might well need another few minutes. Now, you want to leave them to cool in the tin for at least 10 minutes. And then after that, you move it onto the cooling rack and allow it to cool completely. Only then do you cut it up into your 16 squares. And that's it. Gluten-free chocolate brownies. Hope you like them.